Welcome to another episode of Share and Shine Your Story podcast. I'm Dina Marais, founder of Soul Purpose Publishing and Coaching, three-time international best-selling author, and soul-aligned business coach. I created the Share and Shine Your Story podcast to give you guidance on how to get published and make a profit from your book. If you're a coach or service-based entrepreneur looking to elevate your brand and business by becoming a best-selling author and make a profit from your book, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. As in any context, there are also myths and misconceptions about publishing that I'm going to talk about. The first one is that you might think that you're not a professional writer and therefore not good enough to become an author. This imposter syndrome is false and is just your ego trying to keep you small. That's why we have editors. Your job is to get it down. I love what Sean Connery said to the character Jamal, who was keen to become a writer in the movie Finding Forrester. He said, "Don't worry about getting it right. Just worry about getting it down." Furthermore, for multi-author books, we want to hear your story from your heart, not a polished copywriter style that is inauthentic. So for multi-author books, we only do punctuation and grammar editing, for the reason that your story must be authentic and not adhere to anybody's writing rules. Another misconception is that multi-author books are for entrepreneurs who are beginners in their business. There is nothing further from the truth. Becoming a published author in whichever format is for successful entrepreneurs. In fact, many contributors of multi-author books are already published authors. When you do the What's Your Best-Selling Author Path quiz that's on my website, the fundamental criteria are that you have a business, that you are an expert in your field, and that you are able to invest in yourself. Beginners in business don't have the funds to invest or the expertise to demonstrate in a book. The reason why entrepreneurs opt for writing a chapter in a multi-author book or collaboration book is that they don't have the time commitment to write a solo book, or they have not been published before, and contributing to a chapter to a multi-author book is a great way to get their feet wet, as a manner of speaking. There is a big difference between writing 3,000 words and 30,000 words or more as for a solo book. And of course, then there are authors who think that they are a published author already, so they don't need to do that again. Have you ever heard of an actor who have won an Oscar saying, "Okay, I've won an Oscar. I don't have to appear in another film again"? The same goes for becoming a best-selling author. It's not something you do once. It's something you achieve again and again, because every time you expand your impact, your visibility, your brand, your authority, and credibility dramatically. Another misconception is that you don't want to pay to be a published author, that you want to be paid and you want to be published by a big traditional publishing house and then they will pay. Let me assure you, every one of the authors published by traditional publishing houses were already published authors before they were discovered. Plus, they only get selected if they have a huge audience to market their book to. Also, when you get published by a traditional publishing house, they become the owners of your book, and they can change it any way they seem fit and decide when it's to be published. Versus publishing through an independent publisher like myself, you own your book and you have a say every step of the way. You don't need permission to get published. Your story or your book is important and you have the right to have it published. You don't have to go through the agony of getting rejected by publishing houses, by publishers. Plus, as a solo author, you receive 100% of the royalties of your book. Some writers get paid for writing blogs or articles to promote products and believe that as they are getting paid to write, that they don't want to pay to get published. The thing is that writing blogs or articles is not the same as being an international best-selling author of your own story and not of someone else's. Or you might think that it's easy to self-publish and achieve best-selling author status. Now, why should you pay someone else to get published? Yes, of course, you can self-publish. However, there are costs involved in producing a book, and you have to know what you're doing in publishing your book into the correct categories and keywords. Otherwise, you might sell a few copies to your family and friends, and your book disappears, never to be seen again. I get emails daily of authors who have self-published and concerned because their book is getting nowhere. The book sales rank is close to or above 2 million on Amazon, which means that the right book is never shown to the ideal readers of that book. In fact, the right people don't even know that this book exists. Now, let's talk about the myth about time. This is a big one. Time, or the ideas and attachments we have about time, really trips many people up. I can't tell you how many times people let go of golden opportunities because they believe that they don't have the time. Writing a chapter in a multi-author book or collaboration book requires 3,000 words on average. This is about 6 pages. It can take you 2 hours to write 3,000 words easily. Something that you can do over a weekend. And when you write 500 words a day, it'll take you about 30 minutes. And you can complete the whole chapter in a week without breaking a sweat. Now, the same applies to writing a solo book of 30,000 words. By writing 500 words a day, Monday to Friday, means you write 2,500 words a week. And in 12 weeks or 3 months, you have written your book. So there's no such thing as time. Really, if something is important to any of us, we make the time for that. It happens so often that people get the first amazing feeling in their body of, yes, oh, I would love to do this, only for the ego to talk them out of it by bringing up objections of, you don't have the time, you're too busy, how are you going to do this? And then before we know it, we let go. And we're back in not taking the opportunities that our soul actually brings to us. Lastly, you might have no idea where to start writing your book or your chapter. No worries. That's why independent publishers like me are here to show you the way. If you have any idea, if you would love to become an author, if you are an expert and you have a business, contact me and we'll talk about that for you. So, thank you for joining me for another episode of Share and Shine Your Story. Feel free to send me any questions that you'd like to be answered. And remember to subscribe, leave a review, follow me on social media, and do the free quiz, What's Your Best-Selling Author Path? All the links are in the notes, and I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye for now.